want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. They feel fair to see. Rage is like a weed, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution.
Welcome everyone to the After Hours Radio Show with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. It is going to be a fantastic show here tonight. We have David H. Altman joining us here today, and it's going to be fantastic. Been involved in a lot of the UFO documentaries that you may have seen out there. It's going to be awesome conversation. We talked before, but it's been some time, so we're going to catch up, get into some really good stuff. So make sure that you don't go anywhere as we go ahead and take a look out into the chat, just see who has gotten here so far. I know I saw Roger Murray. Roger Murray's always dropping jewels on us all the time. He's our UFO historian out there. Roger Murray saying July 12th, 1952, the Washington, D.C. UFO incident, the fleet over the Capitol and the White House. If you guys have heard of that, you've been in the community, I know you have. UFO Buzz Capitol, U.S. Air Force sent 2 F-89 Scorpions to chase the UFOs. We're talking about, what is that? Let me do quick math. It's 28, 26, and carry the one that's like 74 years ago that this occurred, roughly. And it's really crazy to think that we even have to ask and have them confirm anything when we had stuff like that going on so long ago, right? With that being said, who else is out there? Let's see. We have Flat Sixer. The Sixer has entered the building, saying good evening, Rob. Appreciate you coming on in, Flat Sixer. Appreciate you showing on up here to the MFN show. Maggie M10 in the building. She turned the bell on and off. It works now. Thanks, Mr. Rob. Yeah, real quick. For some reason, YouTube, and they do this often. I hear this from a lot of different creators out there. They will, for whatever reason, turn, or not even turn notifications off, but if you have the feature on, for some reason, they just still won't notify you. And without being a conspiracy theorist, it probably has something to do with the type of stuff that we talk about when it comes to disclosure and the way that truthfully might shake up the world. Nobody wants that. A lot of people out there don't want that, which is why we're having such a hard time getting disclosure. And let's see here. Susan Alloway is out there. Appreciate showing on up. Susan Alloway saying, hello, everyone. Appreciate that as well. Susan Alloway, thanks for showing on up here to the show. It's going to be a fantastic one, guys. We have about 1 minute to get this thing started. So let's do a little thing here. Aside from the notification bell, which once again, if you're having issues, and just to be safe, just uncheck notification, check it again so we get it to make sure everyone gets notified when we have shows here. We have a lot of different shows that we do on this channel, and we would appreciate that. Also, we have memberships on the channel, so become a social soldier today. You can do that at any time by clicking the links that we end up having in the description of each and every video. We're going to be getting into some good stuff here in about 30 seconds here. So guys, get ready, get your popcorn together, and we are about to get this thing started. 10 seconds. I'm going to send over some last minute information for myself. And here we go. social family, welcome home. You just tuned your dial to Social Talk Radio, where truth and transparency matters the most. I am your host, Mr. Rob G, and tonight we're broadcasting live from the West Coast of the United States, right here in sunny Southern California, over these airwaves and out to all those on digital platforms all around the world. Remember, if you ever miss a show, you can dig deep in the archives, which don't cost you a dime. Just jump on over to youtube.com. But hey, don't stop there. Also consider giving us a follow on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, all at Mr. Rob G. And yes, we will forever appreciate your support. Get your popcorn, grab the beverage of your choice as we have another conversation that moves the needle. That's right. We got a fantastic show lined up for you tonight. So make sure you stay tuned. And we are going to get ready to jump right on in and bring in our guest, David H. Altman, who has worked and lived in Hollywood for over 20 years in music, film, and TV. He currently does production and development work for different networks and production companies on the topics of UFOs, the paranormal, and more. David has been involved with projects for Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, and many others. He also appeared in the film, I don't know if you guys have seen it, A Terror in the Sky. We're going to go ahead and bring David on into the show. David, thank you for coming on in tonight. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Anytime. It's always great when we can get, someone who has their hands in what's going on out here in ufology. And really, I think you help shape it, being that you are behind a lot of these projects that a lot of us indulge in. So cool stuff. If you wouldn't mind, this is obviously the second time we've spoken on the show, but first time here on the Social Dig on my channel here. So if you wouldn't mind kind of going into what got you interested in film, and then how that ended up merging into the phenomena.
Yeah, so I grew up a sci-fi kid. My mom was into sci-fi and growing up in the 70s and 80s. Back then it was a little different. Parents could take their young ones to Star Wars and different horror movies. I remember my parents taking me to see movies like the Amityville Horror, the Road Warrior, stuff like that. It was a lot different. 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid going to see these movies. You wouldn't do it nowadays. When my parents got divorced, my mom and I went to live with my grandmother, and my grandmother was the head of the town library. So after school, my mom worked, and I would get dropped off at the library, and I would go directly and I would sit in front of, the Universal Monsters and the Godzilla books. I would check out the Dracula and the Frankenstein and all that stuff. And once I went through all those, the next section over were UFOs, ghosts, and the Loch Ness Monster. And I gradually, as I got older, got more interested I got less interested in the fiction, and I kind of wanted to go into the reality of things. And that's when I started getting interested in this topic. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Did you, aside just from interest, because I think a lot of us are taking that similar pattern, just listening to you like, yeah, I like that, I did that. Was there anything that you experienced along the way? Like, when did you have a realization? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a very common question that I get. Like, people always, they say to me, "Oh, you must have been abducted. Something must have happened to you because you wouldn't be so involved with this topic unless." And I can't think of anything. I kind of remember possibly having a sighting, 20 years ago. That wasn't nothing major, right? Like, I didn't have any type of major sightings until later, actually until after or around the filming of A Terror in the Sky. Unless something happened, like people have suggested I should, get hypnosis because maybe something did happen and I just can't remember it, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah, regression.
If that's what you were going to ask me, is that what you were going to say?
That's exactly what I was going to ask, because, I know I've talked to people And truthfully, even myself, and we're going to kind of get into this later, but I had my experience for the first time within the last few years. So I gone all my life and not had anything. And I have a friend who's older than me and has never experienced anything. Believes in the subject, understands they're real, will speak to you in that matter, but has not had anything, and that just amazes me. And I kind of feel for people like that because I know you want to see something, you
Right.
understand it's real, but it's just not in the cards for you. And
Yeah.
I can't explain why that happens. Some people say the phenomenon shows itself to certain individuals. Do you believe that? And what have you experienced since you started picking this up?
Right. Oh, real quick before I forget, while you were on the topic earlier of the flyover, the 52 flyover.
Yeah.
So many people know my good friend Beatrice. You know, there's not many people with the name Beatrice. Villarreal, the
Yep.
scientist. She had a white paper that came out about vanishing objects in space, the transients, right? And she noted she's a scientist, and she was looking at vanishing objects above the atmosphere. Right. Okay. So we were talking one day a couple of years ago, and she says to me, you know, these objects that we noticed, they have these plates there, and they were from 1952. She says to me, and these are when we saw these disappearing objects. And I said to her, "Gee, that's funny. You know that what happened in 1952, right?" And you know, she's a scientist. She's not a ufologist. She doesn't know anything really about UFOs at that time. She's like, "No, what?" I said, "Well, 1952 was the famous flyover in Washington D.C. as well as the Flatwoods case." And she said, "Well, what was the date?" And when I told her, she said, "Oh my God, it pretty much lined up with the date." And she actually credits me in her paper for making that connection.
That is awesome. When did that happen? Because I know I heard recently someone bring up talking about her, and I thought about that too. I was like, the dates are pretty
Yeah.
similar, but I didn't know if she, broached it or not.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I say historical data is so important because
Oh,
since we have that,
yeah. That's my whole thing nowadays. Like, I don't even pay attention much these days to anything new, any new video, anything. I'm like, I rely all of my research. Like, for me, my gold is old podcasts. Like example, last night I actually posted it on Twitter today. I listened to an old John Lear podcast on Banal of America, and in the first 5 minutes, this is from like the early 2000s. He's talking about, oh yeah, there was a crashed UFO that crashed that was so big the government had to bury it, and they built something over it to cover it up. Doesn't that sound familiar?
very, very.
Yeah, and he goes, and this was in Utah, not South Korea. This was in Utah.
And the South Korea thing is not South Korea, definitely not. We've looked into that. The thing they were pointing to ended up being a radar facility. So and Ross is still being unclear on where it's at. I know people are looking around, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was right here. And the misdirect is telling us that it's not here and it's somewhere else in the world. Wouldn't that
But
be?
I never heard anybody else ever talk about this. And then here we go. John Lear's talking about it freaking 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's what I said, and that's why I was.
So many gold nuggets from all those old timers, man. It's incredible.
It is. It's more as time goes on. Yes, when you look back, there's a lot of things you can get corroborated using that historical data. And one of the things I was wondering about is with that, as I said in the opening, with the UFO flap over in Washington D.C. What do you think that was? Do you think that was generally just happenstance that they showed up in Washington D.C., or do you think there was more to why they showed up there?
I don't know. Like, what interests me though was allegedly they did shoot at it, and a piece was shot off of whatever it was, and they were allegedly. Got to always say allegedly. They did retrieve a piece of it. I mean, whatever happened to it. I think. What was that guy's name in Canada? Was it Wilbur Allen? The Canadian.
I'm not sure.
Grant Cameron knows everything about him. I think it was Wilbur Allen, Wilbur something. He's a Canadian scientist. They shipped it up to him, and he was supposed to be the guy that looked at it.
Yeah, when you talk about that, and that's one thing I pointed to as well, is the historical instances, once again, leaning back on history to show that there has been times where we have fired on these extraterrestrials, going all the way back, and then also that they have had aggressive intent, I guess, aggressive actions towards us as well. And I guess if you have aggression going one way and you have aggression coming back your way, isn't that the definition of a conflict?
Well, you wouldn't even need aggression with the Washington thing. If it's an unknown craft and it's definitely not ours and it's flying over Washington, like, it doesn't need to show aggression. If it's flying over, it ain't ours, and it's not, radioing back, they're going to shoot at it no matter what.
Well, going back, what is that? Maybe 5 years when we talk about Roswell and the down crash. What is your perspective on how that was down? Do you think that was us, or you think how do you think that happened?
What, Roswell?
Yeah, as far as the downing of the craft.
I don't even. That's a whole can of worms there, man. Like,
Well, there's theories out there. There's different theories that have floated around. They think potentially had to do with nuclear test and then the adverse reaction of the
radar.
What do you call that? The EMP. The EMP that may have taken down the craft.
Yeah, but
and some people think it's a shoot down.
No, I don't think it could have been EMP because I don't think that a nuclear was set off around that time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how that played out.
I mean,
as far as what they're talking about in the community,
there would have to be documentation of a nuclear device being, set off around July 8th, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. So I mean, if there is, then definitely it could be EMP.
I would think so. It's just there's been questions on have we brought these things down, or do they just crash on their own?
I can tell you one thing.
They don't crash on their own.
I'll tell you one thing, that Jesse Marcel III has his Jesse Marcel III has his grandfather's diary, which is still in code and has not been decoded yet. I would like to see that thing get decoded.
And then with the UFO files release, right? So we have some things that are talking about back at that period of time, the late 40s, and some very interesting things. Have you viewed any of the UFO files yet?
I skimmed through them at the beginning. The videos I don't waste my time on. I'll let other people look through those, and when they see something interesting, I'm sure I'll see them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've skimmed through a couple of pages. All of the NASA stuff definitely interests me. Like all that older stuff. I saw the what looked kind of like a pyramid. Did you see that one today? It was taken in space. It kind of looks like a pyramid.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I think what it is, it's actually could be a cigar, but the shading of it is making it look like a pyramid. It's taken out of the window of one of the. I don't know if it's
the space station, right?
Yeah. No,
I think it's from the space station.
No, I think it's either. It could be. I couldn't tell if it was old. I couldn't tell what year it was.
Yeah, I heard someone recently talking about that.
Pavel posted it today.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen it yet, but we did kind of go over the videos. Well, and maybe I skipped over one, but we last night went over all the videos in the UFO file.
Yeah, I mean,
it's awesome, compelling
until they
stuff
released,
in there.
Like a video of a body or something like that. It's like.
Well, see that's the thing. I think I understand that, but I think that only applies to people like us who have been in the community for a while.
Yeah.
Who have researched, but for new people. And this is really what I think is most important is the new people. What are you going to show them
I get that.
to help them understand what
That's the
we're
same
doing?
thing. It's the same thing for me. Like, I don't make TV shows for people like you. I make TV shows for people that don't know shit about
There
UFOs.
you go.
Right. I get
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same idea here. And that's why, Louis Elizondo a few years back received a lot of flack for not going on his book tour within the UFO community. And he was doing all these larger platform shows, national news. And I explained it as the same exact thing we just said here. It isn't, he doesn't need to pander that to us. We already know everything he's talking. We've heard it all before. He needs to address the rest of the world, the people who are just coming in, because at some point we have to all get on the same page on understanding that there is this phenomena out there before we can move forward, or else we're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Which, if you have something to say to that.
No, I was just like, what did you think about his monolith comments?
What I didn't hear. I don't know if I heard those.
So
what were they?
He did an interview in Japan, and he said that there's a monolith on the moon.
Okay,
Yeah.
where is he getting this from? Did he point to anything, or
He said that he had seen a photo, and there's a photo of a monolith on the moon, and he was like, "Oh, I thought it had been released or something like that." Right? Isn't that right,
Okay.
chat? Anybody in the chat might have some more info on that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. That would be
Yeah.
pretty wild. I don't,
Oh yeah,
it bothers me.
It was just 2 nights ago. It was somebody released a clip of him in Japan talking about it.
Yeah, it bothers. And see, I hope that's not all the way true, because obviously, if it is, with aside from what Lou has done, because I think
Oh,
even if
I mean, I don't know if it's true, but
messes up.
he definitely said it. 100% said it.
I think if anyone messes up, right, because no one's perfect, and so there's always going to be something bad you can point to on someone. I always like to look at what did you do to help the situation.
Yeah,
I think he's put in enough work to be applauded for that. But he's made mistakes, like bringing that photo forward that I think was like a chandelier or something like that, and that was bad, right? And then if he's done this as well, it doesn't look good. Yeah.
No, Roger, this was not about Buzz Aldrin. We all know about Buzz Aldrin talking about Mars. This is something totally different. Wes Decker just said, yeah, he said it's a photo of a monolith-like structure on the moon that should be coming out soon. There you go.
Okay. Now I can buy that, right? And that sounds a lot better. There's a photo that's coming out soon. Okay, so we'll get see that. Now, then I would want to talk to the Artemis crew, because apparently, if you believe they went to the moon, which there's no reason
Right.
to believe they didn't, they were on the far side of the moon. They should be able to validate that or verify
but I'm
that.
sure that they had to sign non-disclosures and everything as well, you know?
Yep, I can agree with that, and
Yeah.
that's why I said here. This is my thinking on the whole Artemis thing. We covered that as well as it was going on, and I said historically, there's already, and once again, leaning back on history, we have all the record of the NASA Gemini, Mercury missions where they saw something. A lot of the time, probably 70% of the time, one of the missions reported something. So you'd have to use those same statistics to say what is the chance Artemis sees something when they go, and it's pretty high. So they had to see something. If it was just one flash of light, if it was some weird stuff on the far side, we know they saw something. And then I wondered, once they got back, would it, in this new era of space travel, would they, in their press conference, say, hey, yeah, we saw something weird and we don't know what it was? Or would NASA put the fist down and say, nope, you can't say
Yeah.
that. We're not going to let you say that.
I literally, when the launches go out of Cape Canaveral, I can see them out my window.
Oh, okay. So you're on the
I'm
East
in
Coast.
Yeah, in Florida. Yeah, Cape Canaveral.
Oh, okay.
It's right there. They wake me up at night. My whole house shakes.
I'm not too far from Vandenberg, so I
Yeah.
occasionally get to see one of their little rockets
Yeah, it's crazy.
fire off, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty awesome to see, actually.
when I was a kid, I was in school and we were out watching the Challenger go up. Saw it.
Oh, no, you saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It was snow and ashes for hours, man. It's crazy.
Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Anyone doesn't know, that was the tragic 1986, I want to say, Challenger explosion. I watched it on TV as they had all the kids around the country watching this
Yeah, my whole
launch
class was
and the
outside.
tragedy.
We were all
Wow.
outside. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't
Something
know
else. So, with that being said, I want to get into and actually we're coming up to our first break, about 2 minutes here. So, just chat about something else real quick. The monolith. Let's just say there is a monolith. Would that be surprising, really, though? I mean, because if you have extraterrestrials coming in from space, if we were going to Mars and we knew something was living on the surface,
Yeah.
the most logical outpost would be the moon. Why would we go right in? We'd probably set up something on the moon and kind of go back and forth from there. So it makes sense. What do you think about that?
You know, I've become pretty good friends with Richard Hoagland. You know, I don't know if you know who Richard is.
He's familiar. His name's familiar, yes.
Yeah, so Richard pretty much is the man that came up with this whole, there's structures on Mars, on the moon. He was a regular on Art Bell in the 90s.
Yes, okay.
Early Art Bell, like he was there. He wrote what was the title of his first book? The Monuments of Mars. He was the one that pushed the whole face on Mars. Like there would be no anything Mars. He started it all. Put it that way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, to this day, you know, he's not even like I told you so. I told you so. He's just like, you know, he's his wife. He's 85. His wife has passed away. You know, the poor guy. It's like, let's give him something already. You know, he's just. I feel so bad for him. He just wants to hear. He just wants to be validated, and then so he could go be with his wife. You know, and when I told him, when I was like, hey, you know, Lou Elizondo just did this interview, you know, and he's saying there's a monolith on the moon. He's like, David, why are you telling? I know there's a monolith on. You know, when I call him, he's like, well, I know there is. You know, it's so incredible. You know, it's.
It would have. You would have to.
Wait. Let me finish real quick. He claims that there's glass domes on the moon. Okay, that are battered. They're battered and you know, they're not a dome that covers the whole moon, but like on certain craters, there's battered and beaten pieces of domes that are millions of years old. And the way that you can see them is certain shot. Okay.
Yep, we're going to hold right there. We're going to come right back after the break with David H. Altman. We're talking UFOs, pop culture, movies, all that good stuff and more. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this break. All right, we are clear. We have 5 minutes here. If you had anything to do, you can go ahead and do that, and I'll just talk to the audience real quick here.
Awesome.
All right. Let me bring them off here, guys, as I jump on. Yeah, so monolith on the moon, crazy stuff, and I would definitely, you know, I'm open to it. We've been here, and if you think about other civilizations that may have come before us, if they ended up becoming space traveling, they could potentially have remnants of something up there. It's, you know, if they came from here and went to the moon, I wouldn't well, I don't know that I would understand why there would only be artifacts or things on the far side of the moon, right? If some previous civilization from here went to the moon, right, and we're seeing their remnants. However, if there was something coming from out there, here, then it would make sense that they would have remnants only on the far side of the moon, because obviously that's out of sight of whatever is down on the ground, right, on Earth. It would make sense. So I would like to hear more about that. Hopefully we're not seeing, and this is one of the other things, right, is that I've seen in some cases some of the prominent, in quotations, speakers on the subject out there kind of go into some sort of shaky territory. And what I mean shaky is not that it is false information, but more so, more harder to prove information. So monolith on the moon, I expect nothing less but a photo of this monolith on the moon. Something that proves what you're saying, and not just this weird sort of, this land sort of something on the land. The word escapes me right now. But not just some sort of land feature is what I'm saying. Land feature. Not just some land feature that you might be seeing on the surface of the moon. If it's a monolith, show us a monolith, right? Otherwise, I don't know how I feel about some of the people who call themselves the faces of the topic out there saying stuff like that. Saying stuff you can't prove is goes against what we should be doing here when it comes to this conversation. You can speculate, all right, because we don't have the answers, but when you start saying this is what it is, there's something up there, or being matter of fact in the way that you were presenting something without evidence or receipts is beyond me. I don't like seeing it, and I've seen a few people who call themselves faces of the UFO subject go in some strange places that I don't know if they can necessarily prove. That's all I'm saying. Good, bad, indifferent, but if you're going to, especially being one of the more featured people when it comes to talking about this out in the public, I would think receipt should be the name of the game, right? If not, it's all about building credibility for the subject, and we got to always make sure that we're doing that. So with that being said, we have a couple minutes here. We have a few minutes here. Make sure, guys, if you wouldn't mind, to take a moment. Go ahead, go hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, it's right under your screen. It's a little thumbs up guy. It looks like that. Just go ahead and hit that guy. And also, please consider hitting the hype button, which I'm just really figuring out what that is. Apparently, it allows you to kind of position the videos in a leaderboard sort of format. So, costs nothing to hit those buttons and hype it up, as well as leave a comment after the show. Sounds like a lot, but they're really easy things to do. Leave a comment. It just lets YouTube know that you're engaging with the show. And then they don't do things like not notify our community who is currently signed up for notifications. So I think all that stuff goes to kind of let YouTube know to quit shadow banning the subject, or especially conversations like these, the ones that move the needle. So we'd appreciate if you do that. And we are going to be getting right back here to the show. I'm actually trying to multitask and move some things over as we get ready to get back into the second part. Let me go into a couple of your comments here. Let's see. Okay. Got that. Okay. Mel W40, thanks for coming on in, saying he almost knows for cities on Mars. Known for cities on Mars? Not sure exactly where you were going there. Maggie M10, there was a YouTube creator, Bruce Sees It All. He has some interesting footage about moon structures. Sadly passed away. Oh, okay. We're coming back, guys, in 5 seconds. Let's get ready to go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the After Hours Radio Show right here on the Social Dig with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. We're getting some really good stuff here tonight. Once again, we have David H. Altman on our screen talking to us about pop culture, movies, UFOs, the moon. Make sure that you guys leave a like, and we're getting right back into it here. So, so you were talking about something right as the break kicked in. I don't know. Do you recall where you were at?
I was just talking about Richard Hoagland. About the domes.
Yes.
He was talking about how there's glass domes on the moon, and the way that he spotted it was from old NASA photographs from when. Now, I'm not saying that there's domes on the moon. This is Richard Hoagland, and there's some photos from early NASA photos from when the astronauts are walking on the moon. And there's the color of the background is like this bluish tint, and it's from the photos being shot up, and there's like sunlight or whatever, and this bluish tint is from the reflection of the glass, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting, right? I could believe that, right?
It's all broken up and shredded because of all the meteorite hits.
What do you say to those who try to disprove that immediately by saying no? There's orbiters. There's moon orbiters around the moon. China has one up there.
The first argument I hear is we never went to the moon, so that's the first argument usually. I'm joking.
No, I mean it's true though. It's true. But it's hard to combat those people who talk about like the China orbiter, the Mars reconnaissance orbiter.
I don't hear any arguments because I've never said, "Hey guys, I've never said that to anybody.
As a host, and when you're having millions of conversations out there, you hear all different angles of it, and there's just people out there that say,
I've never said to anybody, "Hey, there's domes on the moon." Richard has. I haven't. So
no, and not necessarily domes, but just things things. Period. Lights, structures. In this case, domes. All the various things that people have said they've seen up there, and they're saying, okay, but we have this lunar orbiter going around the moon, and they're not seeing any of this. So that means everything you guys are saying on that subject is false. And I don't know how to combat that, really. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just one of those ones that you can't really. The only people who can prove it are people who went to the moon, right?
Right.
And they can tell you what they saw.
Yeah, and I mean, even you'd actually have to go down there to see them because it's not something that you can see from space. They're like seriously. He talks about them how they're so close to the ground and they only cover like certain small areas. They're not like these gigantic domes that covered whole parts of the moon. You know what I'm saying?
And what do you gather? What do you gather the purpose of those words? Do you think he's saying those
because they were built?
Yeah,
or they were us from long ago.
Long ago,
and they were building cities or whatever they were doing on the surface, and they either needed to build for atmosphere and oxygen, or to protect them from asteroids coming in.
Oh man, it sounds a lot like what is that movie? Total Recall. I think Total Recall. They were in a bubble like
Mars.
That.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I guess whatever the moon is made out of, you can make glass there.
Well, I'm open to it.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just telling you what he said. I don't know. I've never been to the moon.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. The thing I like to do with people is like we could talk about it, right? But when it goes into things that you can't bring receipts for, then that's kind of where the conversation probably should stop. You know what I mean? It's kind of
we deal with it. You think this is something really we need receipts for? Dude, come on.
Man,
this is the least receipt thing that we need for what we deal with every day.
Right. Yeah, but I'm just that guy, man. It's hard for me. There's a lot of people out there that jump all the way in and, oh, gosh, there's domes on the moon. Oh, yeah. and I don't promote things like that. I'm just like,
I don't
what,
either. I'm just telling you what this dude wrote a book about.
and not saying that you do, not saying that
Yeah.
you do, but you know that when there's people out there
Oh, trust
that
me,
will
man.
want to kind of say and kind of say, yeah, I've heard there's domes on the moon and things. Like, come on, okay, well, let's see it then. Let's get to the point to where we see it. But with that being
But I'll
said,
tell you. But I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'm not explaining it the way he could explain it.
mhm.
The way he could explain it to you, you would be like, maybe. I'm not explaining. You know, I haven't looked into this.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm
Yeah.
serious. This
The
dude,
way he just, yeah.
he worked for NASA for years. Like he was the science advisor to Walter Cronkite and CBS for NASA. This guy's got a really big NASA background. He's not an idiot. So that's another thing.
I was just with a group of NASA individuals. I had to perform a eulogy, and there was a group of NASA individuals there, and I made a joke during the eulogy about how I would ask this person about what NASA was hiding about the UFOs and the extraterrestrial presence. I did, and one of the guys yells out. He says, "We can neither confirm nor deny." And I was just like, okay. I was going to say it because I had the opportunity to talk to these NASA guys. It was about 10 of them, 15 of them, and I had to take the opportunity to do it. But it was awesome. But it was kind of awesome. But with that being said, my whole thing about this is you know, being that you get into producing these shows and you know, having a mind to kind of think of ways to present this to the public, this message, and how you want it to come across. Just like you said, you promote it to people who are just coming in or don't know the phenomenon is real. When we look historically, and when we look back to documentaries going back to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and all the way up till now, it seems like everything has been covered potentially. How do you see, like, going forward? What would be your idea or your dream way to present information going forward in a documentary format?
So it's funny that you say that because although I can't really say much, the thing I'm working on right now has never been covered. And it's something, all I can say is it's a big something that happened in the 90s, and it's not 100% about UFOs, but it's UFO related. And that's probably all I can really say about it right now.
Yeah.
But it's going to blow your mind. It's a crazy story. That's something that happened in the 90s.
Okay, and I think
and I pushed and I've been trying to get this made for about 5 years. It's not greenlit yet, but it's in development.
And for those guys who don't know, I put this together, so I'm gonna show it real quick. David has been involved in Terror in the Sky, as we've shown here. Appreciate your support here tonight, Maggie M10. Always an awesome person coming in from the other side of the world, over in Australia, down under. Appreciate you showing your love, Maggie M10. And so you worked on Terror in the Sky. You worked. We'll start with Alien Encounters.
I was actually in A Terror in the Sky, and I worked on it.
So with the Alien Encounters Fact or Fiction, I actually liked the show. It seemed pretty good.
Man, I was hoping for a second season on that. We were so close.
So what do you? I mean, I think the kind of reason why I'm even bringing this part up is obviously you worked on this, but I thought that it was pretty unique the way that the show was set up to kind of bring people in, look at their data, try to validate their data, and then also come to a conclusion at the end. So when I say like a new way of doing documentaries and UFO shows, I think that fills the box.
And that wasn't even what the show was about at the beginning. When I first was brought onto the show, they were just looking for people that had close encounters, and we were just going to bring them in and have them tell their story. But then they were like, do you think you could find anybody that has any possible physical evidence or maybe good videos? And I was like, yeah, I think probably, you know. And I mean, you saw what I brought in, you know, and so the show changed like really quick. And it was a lot, you know, I think it was a lot better than people just sitting there, you know, doing reenactments in the boring, you know, this is what happened to me, you know?
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. It was different in that way,
Yeah.
and it also, is as you just stated, it unintentionally brought this other angle as well. Because I've heard you talk about, and maybe we talked about it last time we talked, but there was the part of the show where part of a few different episodes, maybe where there was a common conclusion that that aluminum was a big deal in a
Right.
lot, and I think it taught people to kind of look for that going forward. So I think there was
Right.
a plus there.
And what's crazy is that, hey, Wes, yeah, Wes, you were, weren't you on an
Yeah, Wes
episode?
was in
I
it.
forget. Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah,
definitely.
I forget, man. That's,
Wes
it's
Decker
so
was
long,
in
it
there.
was so
Shout out
long
to
ago,
Wes
man.
Decker.
I forget he was even on that show. The UFO Bros, the brothers, they had probably one of the biggest pieces of metamaterial that anybody's ever seen. Like, it was like that big, and that was from the Pines. What was it? The Needles crash that happened in California, like 2012. They only brought a small piece, but they had a piece like that big, man. It's unbelievable. Probably the biggest piece that's ever been anybody owned to the public that I know of.
And they had it tested, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
during the
so,
show.
yeah, any pieces, you know, it turns out like that, like Frank Kilbert, was it? Oh my God, my mind is going blank. Hang on a minute. Sorry, buddy. I can't believe I forgot your last name. Hang on. So tired.
Yes.
Frank Kimbler. Sorry,
Good show.
Frank. I was close. Frank Kimbler, he's from Roswell. He's a Roswell native. He's part of the Roswell Museum. He's a geologist that lives out there, and he's been digging out there for years. He brought in a bunch of pieces, and the data we got back on his material was the same as the brothers, and it's almost pure aluminum, which is something that we don't make here. We put alloys in there, and this pieces had no alloy. It was pure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you explained that because that was the cool part to find. I think there were like 3 different cases where they all had a piece of aluminum in their debris, and it was like 99.9% aluminum, which they were saying just doesn't happen here on Earth.
Yep.
And that's pretty amazing because it shows, you know, that there's this link when it comes to these UFOs. And I'm just trying to when I heard that originally, I was trying to think like, what part of the UFO is going to be 99.9% aluminum because it's so malleable that what component would that actually come from? And that's kind of, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's alien, you know.
Yeah, Mel WD-40 says
You know, you got
multi-layered
that
aluminum.
the bismuth magnesium, you know, and the way it's layered and all that. I mean, who knows, man?
Yeah,
You know,
it was very
obviously,
strange.
It has something to do with the way that it travels. You know, a way that the what's the word I'm looking for? The wave, what it's called? It starts with a T. The time. Yeah, I know it's the bismuth, magnesium, and aluminum, but I'm talking about the it's like a gravitational pull, but it's with a T. Not it's like terahertz, but it's not terahertz. It's like with a T though. I forget. I can't think right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that once again, that you guys didn't know that obviously coming into the series, but that
No, I mean,
revelation.
I knew about the aluminum, but I didn't know that's what they had.
And with that, because it hadn't been tested yet, right? To know
Right,
it was
but I
aluminum.
had known about pieces and other pieces being tested coming, like arts parts and other stuff. I actually have I have a lab report of some pieces that were tested in 19 and on in the the 50th anniversary of Roswell. They had a big press conference in Roswell, and they had Daryl Sims and Paul Davids, some other people had some pieces tested, and I have the lab results. And this was some stuff that from some more of arts parts, and they sent me the whole report, and it had some of that in it. So I had heard of it before, but I didn't know what these pieces were going to be.
Well, I thought it worked out to be pretty cool. Because, like
Yeah.
I say, the historical format. Yeah, I mean, it just like I said, you're going to cover the story, which is awesome, and you're going to do it in the David Altman way, which I think makes it even more awesome because you get to figure out how you want it presented. But when you look historically on historical documentaries, they're just done in sort of a story format. And I always feel like stories are cool, but when you can walk away from something with more than you came in with, that's the thing that everybody should be shooting for. And like I said, with this show, it showed that that was the angle that you guys took with that, which I thought was awesome. So going forward, what do you think? How do you think this this documentary space can be shaped or shifted to kind of better, not better benefit the viewer?
What I really want to do is I want to do a show that focuses in on more of the high strangeness stuff, stuff that's never been talked about. You know,
Okay.
it's been talked about, but and the only time it's really been talked about is in passing on like Skinwalker Ranch or something like that. They'll just they'll breeze over it in passing, but it's never really been focused on an entire show. I don't know how I would do it or what it would be like, but I would like to do something that involves that some way.
Yeah, because I feel like it's all tied in too. It's just
Yeah.
like, but on what level and how do you go about validating certain things? It's going to be a little tough to do because you have people out there that have been doing shows, and I guess also documentaries who've been trying to prove, let's just say, Dogman or something like that for years, and it just doesn't seem like it progresses as quickly as the UFO topic. And I guess because there's more data on the UFO side than on that other side. So it's going to be a challenge, but I guess it'd be a good challenge because I do think there's something to it when you look historically at like the Native Americans, indigenous, who have these stories about these being or creatures or skinwalkers or Bigfoot, things of that nature. So there has to be something to it. But it's like,
Did
how do you begin getting the evidence? I
speaking
know you're
of
about. Are you about to
okay,
say it? Because I have that. I have it. I want to bring that to you on the second hour.
what's
The
that?
the thing that just it came up recently. You talking about Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll bring that to you in the second hour.
Um,
I have that. I have that.
Hey, I just want to say, Roger, I don't know where you got your information from, but you're totally mistaken, my friend. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, just to address that, people on the audio side, people won't know what you're talking about. There was a
Yeah.
comment made saying
Oh, yeah.
art parts turn out be
That's
fakes. Piece
are you
55
talking about
Chevy.
the $30,000 piece that Linda got from selling to the Stars Academy?
That could be what it is. Do you want to flesh that part out for those who may not know?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if he's talking about the lab results that I have that definitely did not come back to a piece of of a car.
Okay. Yeah, that I'm so I've heard something about that, but I don't fully
It doesn't matter.
remember what happened. Okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, with that, so to kind of spin off that, I mean, there's
I don't know which Bigfoot thing you're talking about because there's two things. There's two Bigfoot
it's
things.
it recently it's recent. Does it have to do with a guy named Snake?
Well, yeah, there's two. That's one of them.
Okay, that we'll talk about that one in the
Okay.
second hour. But what was the other one? Real quick, we got like
The
3 minutes.
The Patterson film.
Okay, yeah, go ahead with that.
So there's a documentary coming out. The family has said that it's fake.
Okay.
They found footage of somebody doing a test run with wearing the costume.
And whose family's coming out with that? Patterson's?
The Patterson family, yeah.
Okay.
Clint Patterson has made a documentary showing the footage and admitting that it was all fake.
And was it done? Are they saying, maybe you don't know yet, but are they saying it was done in the way that had been presented, where they had that third guy who dressed up in the suit and kind of was okay? Okay, so they're going to prove that angle,
and they're saying that it wasn't Bob Hieronymus, it was somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of their friend of the family died, and the daughter was cleaning out the safe, and she found a reel of film. And she put it on, and it's the test footage of them making the suit and getting it ready to film for that scene.
Ooh,
and
that might shake the world up.
And it comes out in November.
Okay, so assuming that when that comes out, it does definitely prove without a doubt that was fake. What do you think that does to that conversation?
But like, I know the Patterson family. Right, I know Patricia Patterson, I know Clint, I know Brad, I know all those people. But let me just say, it doesn't prove that Bigfoot's fake. It could prove that the film's fake. Let me just say that. Okay. Now, Clint Patterson allegedly said, and I don't know, I haven't seen the film. I'm going off by what I heard from people that have seen the film. Allegedly Clint is also saying that, yeah, it's true, blah, blah, blah. I remember as a kid this happening and this happening. But, is it a rehearsal for that? Or could it have been a rehearsal for a recreation for something? We got to figure out the timeline and everything, right? So, but there's nothing that can be done until the film comes out. It's only been played in film festivals.
Oh, okay, but it's viewable.
It's not out streaming yet.
Whoa, I know, but that's gonna shake things up for sure. Because I've talked to a lot of people who swear that the Patty Gimlin film is real.
Trust me.
They swear to it.
Man. I know. I've been working on a Bigfoot thing for the past 2 years. I know all the people. I know all the players that are involved with that film, from Bill Munns to Daniel Perez to the Patterson family, M.K. Davis. I know all of them. I say, this doesn't prove. If it's true, it doesn't mean Bigfoot's not real. It means film. Go ahead. Commercial.
That's a great place to leave it for. We're going to the top of the hour, guys. We'll be right back after
Conversations that move the needle.
Conversations that move the needle.
You're listening to the After Hours Radio Show with Mr. Rob G. Where truth and transparency matter the most.
You've tuned your dial to the right frequency.
Only on Social Talk Radio.
All right, Dave, we're off camera for 5 minutes. I'll see you right back.
Gotcha.
All right. right, everybody. Welcome back to the After Hours Radio Show with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. We are bringing David Altman back on screen here. We're starting back here in 30 seconds, guys. So get ready. And also, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, please consider going right below the screen, hitting that like button. Also, hit the subscribe if you're here for the first time. We'd appreciate any new people coming in, having these conversations that move the needle. We have about 10 seconds left, guys. Also, after the show, if you wouldn't mind, just take a quick moment and leave a two-word comment. Just chime in on what you thought. Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the second hour of the After Hours Radio Show with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. We are getting into some really good conversation here with David H. Altman, who is a show producer, done a lot of documentary that you've seen out there on the UFO subject. And we're also talking other parts of the phenomena, high strangeness, and more in the second hour as we ended the first hour. Talking about you were dropping a bomb, actually, really, for I know a lot of people in the community on the Patterson family releasing potentially soon a film or even a documentary that talks about how the Patterson Gimlin film may not have been real. So, kind of going back into that because it's I said before the break it's going to shake up the Bigfoot world because I've talked to so many people who it's the Bible. It's like the holy grail of Bigfoot sightings. And there's been other disproven things that happened off of that, which is why I was saying before when you said you want to get into that whole high strangeness part of the subject, that it's going to take a lot. It's going to take because they're really, if you take Patterson Gimlin away from the data set in the Bigfoot community, where are they at? I don't know if you have something to say about that.
Well, like I was saying, if this film does turn out not to be authentic, it doesn't disprove Bigfoot. It just means the film isn't real, right? And oh, by the way, the name of this documentary coming out is called "Capturing Bigfoot." That's the title. Yeah. Yeah, and it already has shooken up the Bigfoot community. Going any like I mean, when I first heard about it, I already knew about the film. I didn't hear about it, being released. But when the news broke, I know I'm in a couple of Bigfoot groups on Facebook. I mean, it was boom! It was like a bomb going off. One woman had gone and seen it, and she left a little comment in a group, and she did a screenshot of her ticket and everything, and she was explaining what she saw, and people were pissed,
Let me ask you this: I really hate to roast these because I know I get in sometimes. I did a show on this guy named Todd Standing and his so. With that being said, there's definitely characters in the Bigfoot world who have not done the topic justice at all. They've actually taken it back a lot of steps. And you talk about a Todd Standing, who a lot of people say fake stuff. You have a lot of different people also that have been caught in the act of faking things, and that's why I just say it's going to have so much of an impact to have Patterson Gimlin taken off the table for this topic. Now, we'll agree, as we said before, doesn't mean that the Bigfoot isn't real, because we have historical data going through all the tribes around the world who don't know each other, never spoke to each other, and all tell the same story. So we know there's something there. Now, with that being said, what are your views on someone, because I guess the closest they had gotten, and we're going to get into this other thing in a moment, but Dr. Melba Ketchum, I think.
It's funny you mentioned her, because I just talked to her about an hour ago, 2 hours ago.
Okay, so, well, great. So she had been rumored, and I don't know where this goes from here, but she had been rumored to have retrieved Bigfoot DNA, and she went ahead and had it tested, and she wanted to have it peer reviewed or something, and they wouldn't allow it into the to be peer reviewed, or can you explain that and kind of maybe what you
So
thought about that?
she she had it tested, and what happened was they said that it had been contaminated.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right, and she swears up and down that there was no contamination, and they just weren't gonna accept it for what it was, basically. Um, and it was just, they knew what it was, and they were like, "There's no way that we're gonna put our name on this,"
Okay.
And
Are you?
her results came back, mother human, father unknown. Right.
Okay.
Which brings us back to, should we start discussing this other thing now?
Well, let me ask you this right before that. So
Okay.
I just want to know, because I hear you explaining that. What are your views or feelings about that whole scenario, the DNA? Do you think it was authentic? Do you think that they messed up by not taking it in and allowing it to be published, peer reviewed, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how to do DNA testing. I think that if the right people would have done it and done it the right way, it could have answered a lot of questions, right? Just do it, man. Like, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
If it's not, it's not. If it is, then it is, man. Like, what's the big deal, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I understand that, because I feel the same way about the Nazca mummies. Is we all laughed and hoaxed when it came out, but just test it. Why not just test it and get it over with, right?
Yeah, that wallpaper. I'm at my mom's house, right? Big deal.
So let's take a look at this here. So yeah, we're getting into this here because this, I wasn't going to talk about this yesterday, but I'm just like, I'll save it for tonight. There was, how do I say this? And we're going to look at this as well. I'm going to bring this up on the screen, guys. I'm going to bring this up on the screen.
And this is why I called her, was because I saw this.
Okay, so we are talking about just yesterday, I guess, or maybe a couple days.
Yeah, 2 days
there was
ago.
a report that there was a UFO, or not a UFO, but a Bigfoot hunter.
Could have been.
Bigfoot hunter just so happens to, in the Adirondack forest, finds this. Bigfoot or hoax? So we're going to watch the News Nation, and this will be audio for you guys out there. I'll explain to you what happened here. On the screen, we have what this guy, Snake the Bigfoot hunter, has stated is the corpse of a Bigfoot that he came across in the woods, and he said he smelled this smell. You'll hear the audio here in a moment, and came across. It led him to find this intact Sasquatch, Bigfoot, 8 feet tall, 300 pounds. He stated it had been dead maybe 2 days. He has this. He sent it out on a world tour to all types of conventions. There's some really great questions that get asked by the interviewer here. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to run that video real quick here. If I can do that. Yep, I can. Hold on. We're going to run that video of what was said here. And here we go.
That has captivated people across the entire globe for centuries. Does Bigfoot really exist? Well, now there is a man called Snake the Bigfoot Hunter who claims he has found actual Bigfoot remains. He has this 8-foot, 300-pound body in his possession. He's even nicknamed it Dak. Snake says he found the remains in the Adirondack Mountains in 2024, even put them on display at last year's Great New York State Fair. But here's the wild part. Snake claims he sent the specimen for DNA testing, that the results showed the body has 58.5% Neanderthal DNA and 41.5% human DNA. Snake says that those tests from Cornell's veterinary DNA lab prove that this creature is a Neanderthal human hybrid. Now, the Adirondack Mountains have been known to be a hotspot for Bigfoot or Sasquatch sightings, but there are a lot of skeptics out there questioning Snake's discovery. So we decided, let's go to the source. Charles Stewart, better known as Snake the Bigfoot Hunter, joins me now. He's also the author of the Bigfoot Bible. Thank you so much for taking the time. First, how did you find these remains, and what made you think initially this could be Bigfoot's remains?
Well, you know, I found it west of Old Fort Central Adirondack Park, and the reason I found it was just being in the right area where I could smell it, because this body was decaying, and I just followed my nose deeper and deeper and deeper until, bam, there's this 8-foot-long, 300-pound specimen in front of me, and this thing was sitting in a poison ivy patch and just was absolutely disgusting. And based on what we figured out, this was dead probably about 2 days when I had found this specimen, okay? And what was interesting is next to this body were some larger footprints. And after speaking to a couple other experts, we determined that one of the causes of this specimen's death was probably from getting bludgeoned to death by a larger Bigfoot. So two. Yeah, absolutely. And this could have been over territory or mating. We believe it was probably due to mating because this is a male specimen we have, and this was around 18 to 20 year range, and we figured that out by the dental decay.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. This DNA testing, what exactly was the testing, and what was it done on? The hair, teeth, soft tissue? What exactly?
Yeah, we had blood, hair, and fecal matter, and we just submitted it all and got that done through a friend of mine who worked at the Cornell Veterinarian BioDNA lab. And the results came back, as you mentioned, 58.5% Neanderthal/Denisovan, and that I had to do a little bit of research myself to figure out exactly what was going on. But the Denisovan is a Asian kind of Neanderthal. It's mixed with 41.5% human, and some of that's indigenous. So at some point they did cross over the Bering Land Strait and have been in the Americas. So what we have there is, you know, a very dangerous, aggressive. We know they attack each other, and they could definitely attack and hurt humans for sure.
Do you know how long it's been dead for?
It was dead about 2 days when I found it.
2 days. So wait a second. Yep. Let me understand. So you think it was attacked by another Bigfoot 2 days prior? In other words, there's another living Bigfoot in that area?
Yeah, and I mean, we call them Bigfoot, but, you know, these are like Neanderthal human hybrid. And there's another one that attacked this one. And, you know, one of the interesting things we found on our specimen, which we showed to 60,000 people, was this reproductive bone. And that's an anomaly that the Bigfoot has that is also in polar bears. And these are adaptations that allow it to procreate in an aggressive way. And that leads us to think that they don't actually form family units. They're very nomadic. If they do engage, it's for that aggressive procreation, and then they go their separate ways. So
did you send this to a forensic anthropologist, or did a forensic anthropologist look at these remains?
So right now we've had the DNA test done. I've been trying to get more people to actually be in person with the body. I did get a documentary team came and peer reviewed the DNA, and this is a documentary team from Japan, and they filmed the whole a little movie on this, and they have released it there, and I have snippets of it on our website. And then what was really great is at the showing of this the first time. There was the Six Nation Indian tribes of New York, the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Tuscarora, and Seneca tribes. They came by and looked at the body, and they left and came back and gave me an award. They had came in and immediately identified it as a Bigfoot, as a bark eater, which is another name for Adirondack up there. So it's been like multiple verifications across different paths, and we're trying to get as much people to see this thing as possible.
Have you got any other mainstream verifications, any recognition from more of the major bodies or experts?
We're looking to get some additional people involved with the body. It's been an uphill battle. And
why? They don't believe it?
Well, Bigfoot has been considered kind of taboo and stuff. It's the thing is, this is a global phenomenon. This Bigfoot have been experienced or encountered globally. Okay, but it's still, as you know, with what happened with UFOs, that was considered fringe until it's not. So we are literally punching our way through wall after wall, getting this information out there. And, the main thing I'm trying to tell people is you got to be careful when you're going out there into the wilderness.
Or grab a camera, because my gosh, I mean, look, it wouldn't be surprising to me if there's now a Sasquatch committee on Congress. I mean, look, UAPs, UFOs, extraterrestrials. Snake, you might be ahead of something here. I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with our audience.
Can I just say that the people who do not believe in Bigfoot have something I call BDS, which is Bigfoot Derangement Syndrome.
You better trademark that. You better trademark that right now, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to
Dave. Okay, so everyone is just seeing this. What were your thoughts on this? And kind of let's jump into it, man. Oh, I'm sorry, I got you muted. Go ahead.
All right. So, first off, have you ever seen a depiction of a Neanderthal with that much hair?
Right. So where does the hair come from?
Right?
Yeah.
And the forehead
Okay.
of a Neanderthal looks nothing like that. Right? And especially if you have a Neanderthal with a human, it would have less hair than a Neanderthal. Right? It should look more. It should have look more human than a Neanderthal. It wouldn't have more hair.
What are people thinking when they bring something like this to a national stage, interviewed, and as a matter of fact, so do you think it's a lie? First of all, do you think it's hoax, not real?
Oh yeah, for sure. Come on.
So with that being said,
a penis bone.
So with that being said,
right when I hear the only people that have really seen it are a Japanese documentary crew, I gotta go the other way, dude.
And he asked him, has any mainstream anyone looked at this?
No,
and he's like,
only
whoa,
a
we're trying to get people.
Japanese documentary film crew, right there.
This is
and everything I've ever heard about Bigfoot is how they tend more to live in like family units. This dude's like, no, they're solitary creatures that only fight to mate. Like,
how did you get it home in order to send it out to all these fairs? 1, 2, where are the photos of you retrieving it from where it was and moving it to the next location? 3, someone, when I was watching it, someone pointed out, I was reading through the comments, and someone was like, Bigfoot must have a manicurist in the forest because his toenails were just manicured and neatly trimmed, which wouldn't be a thing for some wild forest creature, forest man. And it just, this is one of the reasons why
everybody out there, Google Neanderthal and go to images. Okay? You will not see one picture of a depicted Neanderthal, right, that is covered in hair. They look more human, dude. Look at that. All of them are all human looking. Okay? They're not covered in hair. It's common sense, man.
Right. So Neanderthal / human, which would mean the hair that you do see, there'd be less of it.
Right.
There'd be less of it. Yeah.
All you writing, man, like you don't know what you're talking about. How would you know what the hair looks like? Because I went to school. I went to high school.
So here, this is one of the reasons why, and I feel for people because once again, the indigenous have said they've seen a creature, hairy, for millennia at this point. So we know there's something to those stories. But you have the modern day individuals involved in the subject that are willing to do something like this and not only just do it, but do it on a national stage and then sit in front of an interviewer and say something that likely didn't take place. Now, I'm not going to say nothing's 100%, so I'm not just going to call the guy a liar without, obviously he probably is not telling the truth.
He's a
But
liar.
you can, but you can sit there. You can sit there and just do this straight faced and answer questions like this. I hate that this is how it is, but there's a lot of these sort of individuals in that community that do this very same thing. And it's like, instead of doing this, put in the resources to go actually
if he'd have been like,
find
I
Bigfoot.
brought it to 5 different anthropologists at 5 different universities, like here's the report, like that kind of stuff, I'd have been like, wow, you know what I mean? Or anything. Oh, so then I called Melba, and she didn't know anything about it. She didn't know anything about it. I sent her the clip. She just called me back laughing, right. She's like, I got to the Neanderthal part and I stopped watching it,
It's sad, man. And if they were doing this type of stuff in the UFO community, which they kind of are sometimes,
and this isn't the first
level.
time that we've had somebody drag out a body like this.
Right. Exactly.
2012 was the last time, I think. Does people not remember?
And the whole Todd Standing thing, which I did a video on, and it was just ridiculous what that guy was doing. And it's just a lot of it going on over there. And it's like, where's the real evidence? And that takes us back to Patterson Gimlin, because that was the one thing people were able to go back and say, no, this is real. I don't know about all this other stuff, but this is real.
There's still so many people that are in the Bigfoot community that are like, I don't care that, they're like, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they show. I'm still going to believe it. You know what I mean? Even Melba told me, I don't care what they say. I don't care what the Patterson family says. I've seen that leg muscle in that movie move, and it's real. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they show somebody in a suit. It's real.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you, to have the national stage for a moment, they had the opportunity to do something great to advance the conversation on Bigfoot, and it obviously didn't do that. It obviously took them steps back. So I just don't know what to say, man. That's why I kind of separated myself from that part of the conversation, because UFOs, we at least have data. We have things we can point to. We can see the things in the sky often. There's a lot of things that show that this is actually going on. And I've tried. I've talked to so many. And there are Bigfoot researchers, I will say this, that I've talked to, a lot of them, who, when they talk to me about what they saw, I mean, you can feel when someone's being real about what they're saying. And I have talked to people where I'm like, wow, something happened. I don't know what, but something actually happened with this person. They saw something that scared them, and you can feel that. But then I've also talked to people where you can tell that they're just up here telling stories. And that's why I'm more of a, let's get away from just stories and let's get into receipts. That's why I have that approach, because where do stories get you at the end of the day?
There's people that, like you and I both know, everybody in here has probably heard of, that when, I was casting for the Discovery Channel show, and we weren't looking for, we were looking for evidence, and they were like, yeah, I'm an abductee, this happened to me, I have an implant, like medically, this is what's wrong with me. I'm like, oh, great. Well, then you have medical records, right? Yeah, I got medical records. Okay, well, great. Well, I'll call you in like a week or two. Call them in a week or two. Okay, can you get me your medical records? Sure, no problem. Never heard from them again.
Yeah, when you
never heard from them again. And there are people that are out there doing speaking commitments, and they're doing podcast interviews, and da-da-da-da-da. I won't name them publicly because I'm not like that. I'm not about to, be like that guy. But they've probably been on your show plenty of times, dude.
Yeah,
and it's
I
sad.
know. Hey,
and it's sad, man. But I know who you are. I know who you
exactly.
are.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I know, too. And we got about 20 seconds before we go to our final break. But that's exactly the reason why I try not to sort of touch that area. And it's like, until they can figure it out themselves in the community and start building framework to move the conversation forward, It's like I can't even deal with it because it's just too much that you just don't know if it's real or not. With that being said, guys, we're going into our final break of the night. Getting into some awesome stuff here with David H. Altman. We just talked Bigfoot, real or hoax, probably hoax as far as the video goes. But we'll be back after this break with a lot more. So I'm going to make sure you don't go anywhere. If you do, come right back. All right, we are clear. We are clear. And we got 5 minutes once again. So if you need anything, bathroom break, anything got to do. Cool. Let's see here. All right, guys. Let me see. Let me bring myself back up here. So, yeah, we don't normally talk Bigfoot on here. It's just, I saw that yesterday. And the reason I did if anyone wants to go back and look, there's a show called, same thing, I think, Bigfoot or Hoax. Bigfoot or Big Fraud, I think is the name of the show I did. It was about this guy named Todd Standing who had been caught faking, Bigfoot sightings. And it's just like, any person that researches Bigfoot or that you've seen me talk to, I always ask them, about people in the community that are doing these fakes. And they always have this negative view about those type of people. And it's sometimes about self-policing within your own community. And the people that I interview that talk about Bigfoot are ones that do that. They're ones that look at those in the community that may be lying or telling lies, and they call those people out, And just like David said here, there are definitely probably people that we all know that may lie about particular encounters, and I just don't think it's cool. It's cool for story time if you just want to hear a cool story, but as far as advancing the conversation and getting to a place to where you can build data to come to a real conclusion, I think there are very few in the community, in that part of the community, that are actually out there doing that. You often hear I don't want to tell you where Bigfoot is at, or I would never expose Bigfoot. Well, the thing is that Bigfoot is here with us. Bigfoot has been around way longer than, a lot of us. So they know how to survive. I don't think they're really concerned on if you tell us where Bigfoot is or if you show us images of the Bigfoot that you interact with. I don't think that would be such a big deal. One thing the guy did say that I do say about Bigfoot and things out there in the forest is if they're out there, we need to know. So it behooves you to bring data forward so you can do things like inform that innocent family that goes on the camping trip to let them know that they could run into not just a jaguar or a mountain lion or a grizzly bear or any of the various predators that you run into in the forest. They should probably also know that there's Bigfoot out there as well. So moving the conversation forward, moving the needle on the conversation on Bigfoot is what should be happening. And that comes with bringing receipts to the table. This is the reason why you have to have receipts. If you can gather them, if you have all these interactions with Bigfoot often, then you should be putting together some receipts. It doesn't have to be where they're at, or it doesn't have to be any of that, but you can bring something forward that moves that conversation forward. And you have to look around that community and see who's doing that. You're not going to find a lot of people that are doing that. Everyone wants to be secretive in their own corners, keeping Bigfoot to themselves and not wanting to share any of the information. And I've had that verified by many Bigfoot researchers in the community who say that it's like that in that community. They don't want to share data. You have one researcher who's gathered their data and they don't want to share that with the next group. And how do you move the conversation forward if that's the way that it is? So I will stand on it. I will stand on receipts as being definitely something that is needed in all parts of the phenomena, all parts of this conversation, whether that's paranormal, whether that's cryptid, whether that's, the whole high strangeness, whether that's UFOs and aliens. Stories aren't going to do it. We have to have receipts. Coming back here in like 1 minute. You guys have been awesome. And Skip to Malou, I see you out there. Thanks for coming on in. Also, I saw Woo Writers DG. Appreciate you coming on in as well. Always showing love, supporting. Let's see. Kitty Catty Whack. Saying Rob G is the coolest and great shows. We do appreciate you, Kitty Catty Whack. We try to do what we do. We try to have these different type of conversations that move the needle. Not the same old same. And that's why we're different. But that could be a detriment as well, because some people just want to hear cool stories and sensational claims, and you're just not going to get that here. It's never going to happen. It's all about, as Woo Writers DG says, Rob Jeezy bringing the receipts for all you ufology peeps. Can you dig it? So what it's all about, receipts. We're getting ready to come back with our guest here in a couple seconds here, 3 seconds, and let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the After Hours Radio Show with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. We're back with our guest, David H. Altman, and we're in the home stretch here, the final 20-plus minutes of the show. So if you have any questions, I think there was one or two you saw so far, make sure you put them in all caps so I can see them. We'll ask them at the end of the show, as well as we go ahead and get right back into this conversation. So, yeah, we touched Bigfoot tonight. We just got finished talking about that. If you missed any of that part, definitely jump in the archive, rewind, go back, and you'll hear, what we had to say about it. But with that being said, going to go in real quick. Last time we talked, Dave, I showed you the UFO sighting that I had. It was all these days, it was like 47 different little objects. So you talked about, you had let me know, you were like, oh, those are called flotillas. I was unaware of that at the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'd done research already, looked into it. I knew that at some point, because I had verified through various means that these particular objects have been seen all over the world. I found a lot of different cases. And then I said to myself, okay, well, if they're that common around the world, the government definitely knows what these things are. They have data on them. And I've waited for things to come out. People have released videos, even through these UFO file video dumps. And they finally, on dump number 4, as they're going through the videos, I see a video of what I filmed. And I was like, that's exactly what I filmed. The government has now validated that for me. I already knew it was real, but from their end, they validated that this is something that they had been recording and looking at. And I'm just going to show you a quick image. This is just a screenshot because I'm going to do whole show on it.
Okay, no, it's not it. Oh, no, that's the Bigfoot.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this right here. So this is the, let me move this. Well, I guess
it's not New Mexico, is it?
This was, I guess, the bottom one was recorded. They said South China Sea, I think.
Oh, okay.
In that area. But when I saw this, I'm like, that's exactly what I recorded. So if anybody knows that the image on top is the image from my UFO video, a screenshot. And this one below is the one they dropped in the UFO file release on Friday. And so when they got to this, and the way these things are moving across the sky in unison, in a formation, I think it's in infrared, so that's why it's kind of washed out, kind of glowy on the edges. But these are all individual objects making up this line, this string, this chain, this formation. This is exactly what I filmed, which is what you see on the top. The video is in my archives here. And I'll just tell you what these things looked like. These things were spherical, oblong-shaped objects. They had these little black pipe-like objects sticking out the bottom of them. They were moving like they were alive, for one, and they were kind of just swaying across like in this formation. In the formation you see above, they went into like a V at some points, and they kind of just moved amongst each other.
What
and
is that
then,
black? What is that black object?
We're at?
All the way to the right.
Oh,
underneath
right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to watch the video back. Actually, I think I have the video.
You should check out. I forget what year it is. It's the Farmington, New Mexico case. I think it was in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Yeah,
I have to bring that up.
David Marler covers it in his lectures. It was a big flotilla that happened in broad daylight. It's a
Farmington,
very famous
New
case.
Mexico.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look that up because
Why
anytime
is somebody saying I'm pushing a narrative? What narrative am I pushing?
let me see here. I don't know if I see that.
Preston Dennett is also. Let's see. Preston Dennett is also pushing a narrative. What narrative am I pushing? Never wants to cover the bad encounters people have. Okay, I guess I'm only covering good things. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, not sure.
Whatever.
Not sure.
I don't care. Anyway,
leave it in the comment. Leave it in the comment
tell me
section
what
of the
narrative
video.
I'm pushing because I don't know what you're talking about.
With that being said, I've been waiting for them to release something, and I don't know what that black dot is.
Google Farmington, New Mexico UFO. Guarantee you the first thing that pops up.
All right, I'm gonna look that up. Let's see.
All right, sorry, Will. I thought you were talking about me because the person above you was. My bad.
New
I apologize.
Mexico UFO. All right, let me see. Famous to the Armada of March 1950. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. Armada. There you go, bud.
Okay, I don't know that. Let me see. Wonder if it has any. Yeah, it's a story about it.
But click images.
Let me see here.
No worries. Sorry, man. I thought you were talking about me. Preston's a good guy, though, man. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, we love Preston. We just had him on the show recently. He's a great guy.
Well,
I just see like AI images.
That's it?
AI images. Yeah,
There's
that's it. But
they actually took actual photos of them.
see, this was anytime. Here's my thought. Anytime you see these formations, and I'm under the impression that even when you see these at night, you see them glowing. I'm under the impression, I could be wrong, and I'm sure the government knows. I think that these objects glow at night. I think they're able
I think
to
they
emit
come
a
out of the
glow.
water and they go up into the air. Is what I think.
They do, and I'm under also the impression that these things are like probes instead of manned objects.
He covers a lot of healings and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm reading this dude's talk. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So my thought is that these are released by some larger craft. They
Correct.
send these things out, and they probe. They go out. But my whole question has always been, why do they group up like this?
Right. You would think that they would like all of a sudden spill out, right, and they would take off and go in all crazy directions.
And I think they do. My other conclusion is that when you see those videos of one white spherical thing, or maybe one or two, I think these are part of a larger group, and at that point they have dispersed and they're out doing their individual things, and I think they all come together like we're seeing here. But I think they're one and the same. And I was pointing out to people that when you look at all the files that have been released in these 4 dumps, a lot of people like Nothing Burger because they're seeing a lot of videos with the same type of objects, which are these white spherical things. And I'm like, that's actually a good thing. And I was going back to Skywatcher because they had one of the good things Skywatcher did was they built the 9 classes of UFO shapes. I thought that was great. I think that's the way to go. And these all fall in one category. So now there are these things out there, and that's one category.
And why are they like mostly in Mexico?
They are mostly in Mexico. That's the thing. And,
right.
But which
makes
this,
me think that they're volcanic activity is what I think.
Well, see, this one at the bottom, it was over in China. So I was like, I was thinking regionally, geographically, but this was in China. Otherwise, Tear in the Sky, you were on that documentary. I also think these objects are what was pictured in that hole in the sky during the film. I think these are the same things as well.
I don't think so. I think we would have seen them better if it was the same thing. We would have seen them.
So what did you see then? Talk about that. What did you see on the part of the show?
I know, but I wasn't at that location. That was Laguna Beach. I was on the island.
Okay.
What I saw was actual like orbs in the sky. I didn't see the tiny dot things. If that was out there, I would have seen them from both locations. I would have seen them from the island, and they would have seen them from Laguna. They're too big.
Okay. In that part of the sky where they show that hole with the specks,
I'm not convinced I'm not even convinced there was a hole.
Okay, what do you think that was? Because
that
was the climax of the show.
I think that could have been a smudge on the lens. Honestly, I don't know what that was.
Well, when I look at it, I see a lot of different, again, historical data. So I look at it and I go back historically and look at different things that line up with that. A good resource for everyone out there is New Fork, their website, nuforc.com. And they actually have categories of UFOs, their images. So they have crosses, they have spheres, they have all sorts of different shapes. And you can search by shape.
Oh, cool.
And when you go in there and you look up objects that kind of look like this, you find a lot of them.
Oh, really? You can click on like cross and it takes you to photos of different...
Exactly. Of
cool.
Reports. Yes, exactly. It's a great resource. And that's where you're going to find a lot of these like things they're showing us in these dumps. So jellyfish UFOs. You'll see someone who didn't make their sighting didn't make public news or big time news. Mm-hmm. You'll see their own sightings, their images, and you'll see that they look just like the things they released in the UFO files.
Did you see this video that just came out of Hawaii?
No. What is it?
I saw it. It was on. I saw people posting about it on YouTube like 2 days ago. It was like a mass sighting in Hawaii.
And what type of objects?
I don't know. It's supposed to be something big. Like Third Phase posted about it, and I usually just don't even look at their stuff. So I skipped it. I skipped it, and then I think like Christina Gomez might have posted about it. And then somebody else posted about it, and I clicked on it for like a minute, and then I got a phone call, and I didn't go back to it. And I just now remembered it again.
Let me. I want to see. We had the videos from last night. There's this one, the one that's all over the news. I think it's this one right here. What did you think about? Let me see. Will this come up? What did you think about this? Or if you've seen this all over the news.
Yeah, I know. It could be party balloons. I don't know. I'm gonna send you. I mean, can't watch it now, but this dude in New York, he's not even a UFO guy. Oh, here it is. Hang on, I'll send this to you. Huge mothership seen over Hawaii.
Okay.
I'll send it to your Facebook.
Okay. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Hang on, here you go. I'm going to send you this other documentary. You can watch it in your free time. It's got some of the craziest captures ever by this documentary filmmaker. He's not even a UFO guy, but he made it because he kept seeing these objects all over by his apartment in New York. So he brought out his camera, and he was like, "Oh my God!" He captured these objects for like weeks over his apartment. Crazy, weird stuff.
Okay, yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I'll have to watch this. I don't know if there's enough bandwidth to play it during the show.
What, the one I just sent you?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If we play it while we're streaming here, I don't know if we have enough bandwidth.
Yeah.
Hey, Presidential Zaddy, thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you showing on up to the show as well. And let's see here. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some weird ones on the UFO file. So if you ever get the time, it'd be a good thing to go look at. The other three,
Pavel posted just the videos out of the drop. If you got any free time.
Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're talking about DG, Rob. You had the New York guy on a few years back, I believe. Not sure. I've interviewed so many. I'm just give me some names. Maybe I'll know.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But,
I'm looking for his channel here. Oh, here we go. Wait, is this? No, that's not it. I'll find it eventually. Dun, dun, dun. I just started working with helping out my friend. Her name's Drea Di Matteo. She's an actress.
Okay.
She was on the show Sons of Anarchy, and she was on The Sopranos. She has a YouTube channel called Ultra Free with 2 E's, and she's gonna start having a bunch of UFO guests on. She's all into that stuff. So I've been helping her get some UFO researchers and people on her podcast.
Okay. As we got about 7 minutes left before we shut this thing down.
Oh.
Talk about while you're doing that. Talk about I know there was one project where you can't really give too much information.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you're involved in, or anything you're hoping to achieve this year or within the next year creatively?
Well, yeah, like I said, I do have a Bigfoot project in the works. Hopefully, that'll come through. I do have the one I was just telling you about. And then I have a scripted series that I've been involved with for a while, which is also it's kind of like the X-Files meets Jason Bourne.
Okay.
See if that comes to fruition. Other than that, I'm looking for work.
Yeah, definitely.
Like everybody else.
What I'll tell you is, if you get any, if you need a scene where you have this podcaster talking about UFOs, hit me up. Let me know, man. I think I can knock that part out pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Or anything else along those lines. But yeah, I think once again, my hope is that for this next generation of people coming into the topic, they'll have all the historical documentaries to go back and watch, just like we all did when we first jumped into the topic. But
and that's where the answers are. It's all in the history.
They are. And I just want to find creative ways to go forward, to kind of make sure, because when you think about today's kids, they're different. And I think the way to engage them is also different. So it's a challenge it's a never-ending challenge on how do you address the newest generation of kids and get them interested in the thing that we do, because the historical thing for them or the approach may not work. You know what I mean? Just like social media. This is good for a particular group, but how do you alter what you're doing to kind of bring in those young brand new viewers? 'Cause I think at this point, 18 and up, we need them all. We need everybody involved in this conversation. And it's just about how do you do that?
I mean, I think definitely by working with people like Drea, celebrities definitely bring in the younger people. If you can get people that are more involved in the pop culture thing. I mean, I know like when people like Fred Durst and people like Billy Corgan, when they were doing their podcast and talking about UFOs and stuff, it's bringing in a lot bigger audience than just the UFO people. I mean, that's one way.
Influencers as well.
I know the UFO people go, oh, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about, But if you can get people that do know UFOs and do know the topic, that are working with these people, that are giving them the right information, it's one way.
And I think when you bring that part up, that's important too.
That's all I can think of, really.
No, that's very important that you said that, because they're people who've been doing this for a while. They have this outlook on a celebrity can't come in and do this. They shouldn't be able to come in and just do this because they haven't been in this topic that long. And I think that's silly, and that's the wrong approach, because at some point we all have to get together and have the conversation. So why would you care if someone brand new came into the subject to have the conversation?
You know why? Because if it's not them, then nobody else should be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's see, and those same people talk about gatekeepers of the
Right.
subject, but
Right.
then you're in turn being a gatekeeper
Right.
yourself.
Right.
And so it's silly. It's very silly.
Yep.
With that being said, Dave, I really appreciate you coming in and doing this with me here tonight. Awesome stuff as always.
Anytime,
and
man.
we got to stay in touch. I will reach out to you and let's set up a date for later. I'm like
Anytime.
booked out to September, and I'll reach out soon.
I'll find this documentary and I'll send it over to your Facebook for you.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Take care. All right, guys. That's David H. Altman coming in for the show here tonight, guys. Always appreciated for anybody that comes in and has these sort of conversations. They're not always the prettiest conversations. They're not always, filled with sensational claims or sensational bomb drops or however you want to paint it, right? And I think that means that you've had a real conversation. And I really hope that that also means, in turn, that you walk away from the conversation with more than you came in with, which is why the motto for this channel is conversations that move the needle. Because I really, feel like dealing with the phenomenon, I think on the base level, we can understand and agree that there are things in the sky that are strange. There are things weird. We know that there's something behind these things. We know that the government is never going to fully divulge what they know about the UFO subject. So it's a lot of the same redundant stuff as far as conversations go out there. You look around and people are covering, well, what did they do at this upcoming hearing? What did they actually do? Did they say anything? They're covering the same things, but I don't really see the conversations that we should be having about what happens next. I'll give credit. The only ones that I see that even touch this sort of this angle on the phenomena is like a Bright Zabel and Richard Dolan, right? Because they talk about the post-disclosure, and I think that's really the focus. That's where we should be at, because we're in a place where we're having kids, grandkids that are coming into this world. We may not, as us, be witnesses to disclosure. Hopefully we are, but we may not be. But for sure, the descendants that we have, our kids, our grandkids, will be the ones that have to deal with the moment and figure out how to get through it. So being responsible adults here, we should be having these conversations now so we could figure out, we could do most of the legwork for those next generations. They could just pick the ball up, carry it forward across the goal as we get ready to, hopefully have this contact moment and this ascension as human beings into this new world or this new place where we have the realization globally that we're not the only ones here. We're not the only ones out there. And that there is a presence that's here visiting us. Now, the other important question about that is as well, why are they here? Why? Big question. What do they want? Why are they here? And is it something we should be concerned about? Or is it something that we should be open to and kind of welcome in? With that being said, yes, it's actually time to wrap things up and put a bow on another awesome show. Special thanks to our guest tonight, David H. Altman. Special thanks to our team, and extra special thanks goes out to you. Yes, you. Thank you for taking your time and tuning your frequency to social talk radio, where we do what we do best. And what's that, you ask? We continue to push for transparency and the truth on behalf of humanity and keep having conversations that move the needle. It has been a pleasure serving you once again as your host. I am Mr. Rob G. This is the After Hours Radio Show, get to my social family. Nah, this isn't a farewell nor a goodbye, but you can best believe we'll be right back here doing the same thing, same time, same place. See you next time. Much love. Take care. All right, guys, we are crystal clear. Appreciate you guys coming in and having this awesome conversation tonight. We will be having the Reverend Michael. No, the Reverend won't be next week. Let me tell you who is next week. The Reverend is coming up on Reverend Michael J.S. Carter will be here on July 25th, and we are scheduled to have Tony Rodriguez. We'll have Tony Rodriguez here next weekend, right here on the After Hours Radio Show. Another awesome conversation, another one that moves the needle, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Once again, I do want to thank Maggie M10 for the awesome super chat for tonight. Just a rock star. Let me go ahead and give her a round of applause. Maggie M10. Give it up for Maggie M10, everybody. Maggie M10, all the way from the other side of the world, the land down under, coming in, showing her love, and we do appreciate her. With that being said, guys, much love to all you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Share the show. Share the show to those out there who may not have seen it, who would enjoy getting into these type of conversations. If you have any guest suggestions, go ahead and put them in the comment section or go to the community part of my page here and let me know who you want to see on the show, who you think would have an awesome conversation that would also move the needle. Let me know. Also, please give us a like on this video, leave a comment, and if you're here for the first time, consider coming back. Please hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate that. And as well, we had a notification issue where a lot of people weren't being notified of the shows when they went live, which is crazy. YouTube, please fix that. But you guys can actually uncheck the notification and then recheck it. And Maggie M10 verified that worked for her tonight, so I assume it'll work for you guys as well. With that being said, guys, I'm up out of here. I'm about to get up out of here, and we will be doing this again soon next week. Same time, same place. Have a great rest of your night. I am out of here right about...
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.